What's going on, everybody? Back in the shop on a Monday. Got a bit of snow going on out there, even though it's, I don't know, second week of April or whatever. That's New England. So I got a car in today. It's a 2008 Acura MDX that the customer's been having issues with the battery dying. So I thought I'd just do a quick little video on this because this is a very common issue. On like a lot of Hondas and Acuras, and this particular generation especially seem to have a lot of issues. It's a 2008, so I kind of wasn't really expecting to see a lot of these anymore, but they're still out there. So, you know, figured it was still, worth making a video on, basically. But just to kind of give you guys the gist of it, like I said, he's put a new battery in. He's still having issues where he has to jump it, and then once it's running, it's fine, but battery keeps dying and stuff. So I got our meter hooked up to it. Show you guys that in a second, so you can see what kind of draw that we're dealing with here. Like I said, this is a common issue. I already know what it is, but we'll just go through it quick because I'm sure somebody else is going to run across this at some point. So one thing I do, because if you're doing a draw test, you want everything to be off. You want everything to go to sleep, computer-wise, and then that way you can get an accurate reading of, what kind of draw you've got on the system. So opening doors and leaving them open is going to be an issue if you're trying to do this test accurately. So what I like to do, these clamps work pretty good for it, is just clamp down on the door switch, so that way that thinks the door's still shut, it won't, kick the lights on. And if you have your meter hooked up, that's a good way to blow your fuse. So do that to start. And then, like I said, this one has a pretty good draw. I've already determined that. So, hooked up the meter. Gonna put it on the amp scale for this particular one, where it is, if you don't know what it is, it's good to start high so you don't blow your fuse. And so, right now, what it's showing for amps is 0.04, 0.04445, something like that. So that's, that's an acceptable reading right there. 0.0434445, whatever. That's going to be, 45 milliamps or so. Generally anything under, for most new cars, I mean, every car is going to be different. You have to look to see specs, but generally, as long as you're under 80, if you can be under 50, that's ideal. You're not going to kill a battery that way. So that's usually where you want to be. So right now, that is where we want it. That means it's not going to be killing the battery overnight. It's not going to have issues. That's a normal reading. So now what I did was I plugged the hands-free link, which is the issue here, back in, and you can see it's at 0.28. That's about 280, 250 to 280. That's, that's a lot. That's a big draw. So that's going to be an issue. So on these Acuras and Hondas, the hands-free Bluetooth link is the most common thing. Now on this MDX, this is a 2008, I think 07 to 09 or something like that. They're located in the back here. So I'll show you where we're at. Basically, this box here, that is your hands-free link. Okay, so that is the most common issue on Hondas and Acuras for a battery drain, especially this gen. It's going to be that hands-free link control module. That's the box. It's pretty easy to get to. You don't need any tools really, other than maybe like a trim piece. This big piece that goes into the back of the console here, you just kind of reach in, pop it out if you can. Otherwise, you get like a trim tool up in here, pop it free, and you can kind of just set it down. It's still got its connections here, but this guy right here, that is the one you want to undo. So if we go in here and just unplug it. Okay, so now we're unplugged, not connected. Go back to our meter. Now remember, it was at 250 or so, something like that. Now that we've unplugged it, we're back down 0.04. So that's where you want to be. So that's that's the issue that you'll come across with a lot of these. Now on older MDXs and other, you know, Acuras and stuff like that, that isn't going to be behind that console. Same sort of thing. That box is going to actually be up, kind of up in the roof console there. So you'd have to take that down to get to it. But, you know, like I said, do all your preliminary checks, you know, make sure the battery's good. You know, you can check all your fuses and do your normal parasitic draw test. But a lot of times what you'll find is, and on this one, it's the radio fuse is a lot of times where you're going to find, you know, this, if you're doing it a normal parasitic draw way, you know, pulling fuses and that type of thing, you're going to see it probably on that fuse, which is, it's like a 10 amp fuse under the driver's side, you know, fuse box panel area. That's going to be, you know, I think it's fuse number 5. It's, you know, up in the side there, pretty easy to get to. So, you know, check that. But yeah, it's pretty easy. And then the nice thing about it, I mean, most people don't really, to be honest, care on a vehicle this old if the Bluetooth works or not. So you can just unplug it, leave it unplugged like we've got it there, put the, you know, the console back up. If you wanted to replace that hands-free link, you can. I wouldn't bother getting a used one because it's probably going to have the same issue, but totally your call on that one. But yeah, just thought I'd give a quick little video so you guys can see what's going on there. Yeah, as far as this car is concerned, that's the fix. It's good to go. So check with the customer, see if they want to fix the hands-free link or if they just want to leave it unplugged. My guess is the latter, because why spend money if you're not even using the Bluetooth? If you're not using the hands-free link, then it's not going to affect anything if you leave it unplugged. Save yourself the, you know, I don't know what those units go for now. A couple $100 probably, like everything else. So, yeah, I mean, do what you want with that. But this is a good way to kind of start your testing if you're not sure on these particular ones. Like I said, it's so common. They had a bulletin out for it. So if you get something like this in, or, you know, you have something like this and it's, you know, killing the battery, first thing to try basically is unplug that Bluetooth hands-free link and see if that takes care of it. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, that's probably what it's going to be. It's just, you know, a known issue on these cars. So hopefully that steers some of you in the right direction, helps you out a little bit. You know, let me know if it helps you out. But yeah, thought this might help some of you guys out. So till next time.